there are many people who ask, I have a Zoom recording and I want to bring that into Descript, but I have the speakers on the video side by side. So I want to be able to edit that Zoom recording in Descript, but I also want to be able to move those speakers around individually. Because Zoom doesn't give you separate video for every person, you have a single video file. So how do we separate that in Descript and create, maybe if you want, a multicam sequence or a multicam project with just one Zoom file? So let me locate a Zoom project and I'm going to show you how to do it. This project has a single Zoom recording. I can actually rename this to Zoom recording like this, just so you know. If I click on this file, it's me and Chris. We recorded this on Zoom. You can see the video side by side here, a single file. And it's been transcribed, by the way, but it doesn't have to be transcribed. So if we go through this, the whole thing is just one video. Descript is preparing to play this file in the cloud somehow, and that's going to take a second. But let me explain how this works. If you have a single file, first of all, I recommend that you transcribe it. And when you transcribe that file, if I drag this file into my composition here, which is blank, it's already transcribed, so it's showing the script. Now, it says it's Christy and Chris here because that's true. I have already identified the speakers on this file. But if you bring this file in and it's not been even transcribed or identified speakers, you can do that when you do the transcription. It's going to ask you how many people are on this file, who are they, give it their names, and it's going to walk you through a wizard to identify who they are. If you haven't done that, that's not a problem. Not everything's lost. You can right-click on the file and in the project area, and you can say identify speakers. That's going to ask you again, who are those people? Allow you to give the names, who it is, when they are talking, and then it's going to label them. But I'm not going to do this on this one because I've already done it for this file. So what I have here is a composition with one file side by side. How do I change this into a multicam kind of situation, right? Well, the first thing you have to do is to separate the audio from the video and create a sequence, okay? So you don't have to separate the audio, by the way, because you can just create a manual sequence. I'm actually going to delete these on purpose. So I'm going to delete this and just keep the file. And I've got the file, just a file, all right? So here's how you do it. You should basically create a sequence where you put the file in twice, okay? So I'm going to right-click and create a sequence, yeah? So it's going to create a sequence with that file in it. Now you notice that in my sequence here, it's showing the file and the video and the audio on a single track. That's not a problem. And let's rename this track in here and call it Christy. That's my track, okay? That's my track. So I've got the audio from both people in here, not a problem. And the solution to that is now I want to bring in this file again. So I go to the top right, go to Add Media, and pick the same file. This is the Zoom recording. Pick the same file, click Add New Track. There you go. Now that file shows up on two tracks. I'm going to rename this track called Chris, okay? So what I want to do first is I want to mute one of them because I don't want to hear the audio twice as loud and I don't want to have problems with duplicate transcript. So one thing you can do is click on this and go to the top where it says the name of that track and you click mute here, right? Mute track. Now that's going to silence that track, but I don't care because I already have both audios on the same file in the other one. And another thing you want to do to prevent duplicate transcription issues is to go to these three dots on the right-hand side and say remove from script. So this is still going to apply to this track, Chris's track, remove from script, right? And when you do that, you notice that Descript is going to show you next to the track in the left there, it's going to say not in script, okay? So if I were to generate a composition from the sequence, I'm only going to see the script from this track at the top there because that is included in the script, yeah? So if you have files where in a sequence on multiple tracks and they have the same text on them because maybe there was mic bleed or you added the same file and transcribed it twice, one video and one audio, That can create serious problems when you try to correct your transcript, because the double transcription is going to create issues of synchronizing text. So you have to exclude one of them from the script. Now I'm done here. I'm going to click done. And now that sequence is here with both speakers. I'm going to right click on this and rename it. I'm going to call it both speakers. And in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go delete all of these compositions here. However, if you've already made edits, don't delete them, obviously. If you've already made edits and then you realized you would like to turn that into a multicam sequence, there is a different way to do it. You just go to the timeline and right click and say detach audio. That's going to automatically create a sequence. It's going to separate the video from the audio and allow you to go into that sequence and do what I just did. Add that track again. Now that's out of the way. I'm going to actually delete these things, delete all of them. And I've got a blank composition. Look at this. I go to sequences and bring this one, the sequence with both speakers on, in here. Look at that. Now, because by default this composition was audio only, it will tell me, hey, I realized that you just added some video in here. Do you want to switch that to video? Yes, I do. So there you go. We have it. So watch what happened now. If I go somewhere inside of this video here, you see I've got twice. I've got that twice because Descript will automatically show you all of the videos inside of that sequence for you to manipulate in here, right? So watch this. This is one video and this is another video. Two videos, two tracks, two layers in here in the composition, right? We're not done yet. So if you go to the scene, you actually are able to see these layers, right? You've got Christy and Chris. Inside of that sequence, remember, I gave them these names, Christy and Chris. Those two tracks become layers out here, okay? And in fact, you look, one of them is muted because I muted it. The other one is not, all right? So let's click and fix the cropping now because I want to have individual people. I don't want to see everybody twice, right? So I'm going to grab this one. Maybe just grab the one on top, all right? This one is one of them. Which one is that one? That is the script. That is Christy, I believe. If I go to scene, it's Christy, click on that there or there, that's Christy, right? Which means I'm going to just resize that. I'm going to fill the screen with it. And I'm going to crop it just to make myself. Okay, double click on it to go into crop mode. In fact, you can actually go here, enter crop mode, or double click, same thing. And I'm going to grab the edges and crop Chris out like this. And do the top and the bottom. When I'm done, click done, and there we go. There's a video of just myself. Let me do the same for Chris. Okay, so I'm just gonna, you don't have to resize it, by the way, if you want to see it better. You can also right click on it and say layer order, bring to front. That's going to put this on front. Again, go to crop mode, crop myself out now because that's Chris's track. There we go. And there we go. Done. And there you go. That's how you create separate videos of two people on the same file. And now if I play, actually I can still put them side by side like this. If I play these
videos, he has
it doesn't affect
YouTube
the playback.
channel.
The audio is still there. The transcript is still working. Now, this is one way. Now, I need to say, a lot of people hope that by doing this, they will be able to do that automated camera switching. This is not possible with this scenario because the audio is on a single file. And Descript is using the identified speakers and the audio file and video to know which file to switch to when a person starts talking. But in this case, we are using the same file for both, for audio and video. Even if the file is duplicated, the track is duplicated in that sequence, it is still the same file. So Descript has no way of knowing which of these tracks to switch to when a person is talking. So this is just to get that out of the way because a lot of people are asking about this. It's not possible. Now, if I've got both of them, and let's say you've edited your podcast and maybe you can, tweak the cropping a little bit, you are now able to do this, resize it, center it, do all this stuff, fill in, and it doesn't look like a Zoom recording anymore, right? So there you go, side-by-side interview kind of thing. Just make sure you don't move it too much, because then I'm moving into the other space, right? So just use the cropping to your advantage. There you go, side-by-side interview that doesn't look like Zoom. Now, if you want to also stack these one on top of the other, right? Because you may want to do some social media clips or whatever, right? So let me show you how to do that. If I want to isolate a portion of here, let's say, for example, I'm going to select this portion and I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to say duplicate to new composition. This is basically the basis of how you extract a portion from your longer interview onto a separate composition, which still lives in this project, but it's a separate composition that I can change the orientation for. I can create a template for my social media clips, put the links on there, put the logos, captions, all those things. Well, I do that on a separate composition because I don't want to mess my main episode, right? So I'm going to say new composition there. Boom. So that selection that I made has been copied, and you can find it in the project area, clips from both speakers. That's the one, right? Click on that. There you go. I just have that portion. And now in here, I am actually free now to change everything. I want to change the layout. I want to put them on top of each other and stuff like this. And I put some captions on, right? First thing, let's go to the top here and change the orientation to portrait. So I'm creating like a vertical video, short, reel, whatever you want to call it, portrait. Now, Descript is going to automatically center those files, those videos on the screen. But I am going to say, I'm going to put Chris on top here and increase the size of his video. And like this, half the screen. Double click to go into crop mode and put him in the middle like this. And grab my video, resize it, and then like this. And then again, double click and then do kind of this. There you go. I have now turned my Zoom recording into a top to bottom social media clip. If I want to go and put like captions in here, go to captions, just add a caption here. I don't know. It doesn't matter which one. This one, for example, it's going to put it on the screen and I can move it around and whatever, resize it. There you go. Social media clips from a Zoom call. No problem. And yeah, you're free to put your logos in there or whatever. And now this is a separate video that you can go and publish. Go to publish, go to export video, change your setting in here to be the correct size and export this as a social clip. And then you go back to your project, go to the main episode here at the top, and you're back to your normal thing. So that is the flexibility that Sequences affords you to individually manipulate those tracks in your compositions differently. Okay? So there you go.